Hey small group, I just wanted to record a quick video for you guys. I know this is different technology, but since we have our own Facebook page, I thought I would try this out and see how it worked. And so, this is in regards to week 19 of the story. This is what message I probably would have shared in a nutshell to the group tonight if we were to have group tonight. Unfortunately, a lot of people are out of town, and we thought we were going to be out of town actually. And so I'm going to try this and see how it works. And then I've got a couple questions at the very end, and maybe you guys could respond and just put a comment on the Facebook page or something like that, and we can have a discussion that way. I think it'll be kind of neat, see how it works. But anyways, so the nation of Israel is just hopeless right now, and the prophet Jeremiah, who is also known as the weeping prophet, sends out a letter to several people in Israel. And Daniel is actually one of those people that gets the letter. And it's just a letter of hope. And the actual reading is, you can do this on your own. It's Jeremiah 29, verses 11 through 13. But we are actually going to talk about Daniel. And I'm not going to talk about all 6 stories of Daniel, but I'm just going to hit a couple of the highlights. And as you know, Nebuchadnezzar was the king at this time of Babylon, and he went into Jerusalem to find lots of different young, good-looking people showing aptitude, knowledge, intelligence that he could bring into his service. And he just wanted pretty much a council of people to interpret dreams, as you'll see here in a second, to just give him advice, just kind of be like an entourage for him. And he would bring them in and teach them the Babylonian language and also teach them the culture of Babylon. And so the first story in chapter 1 of Daniel is talking about the food. So the king wanted his people to be healthy so that they could be in good service to him. And so food from his own table and wine from his own table. And this was for Daniel, for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to eat, as well as the other Israelites who he would then select later to be in his service. And when Daniel heard of this, he told the official that was going to feed him this food that he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to defile himself in that way and honor King Nebuchadnezzar and the gods of Nebuchadnezzar as opposed to his own God by taking this food. And he said that what I want is just give me vegetables and water, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will have this as well. And then in 10 days compare us to the other men eating from the king's table. And they actually showed to be healthier than those men. So the official went ahead and took away the food that was set aside for them and just fed them vegetables. And so chapter 2 talks about the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had, and this is when Daniel gets in the favor of King Nebuchadnezzar. And Nebuchadnezzar had a dream that was very troubling to him, and he summoned magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, astrologers to interpret this dream. And they all were kind of wasting time with him, just trying to have conversation with him and not interpreting the dream. And then one of them actually said to him that this is impossible for a man to do. And so he's so angry at this that he sent out a decree to kill all of the wise men that he had kind of gathered, and for them to all just be killed. And when Daniel heard of this, he said he was kind of shocked by such a harsh decree, and he offered that he could interpret the dream. And meanwhile, he went to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego at their home, and he said, let's pray to God that we won't be executed because of this. And so during the night, God revealed to Daniel the dream and the interpretation of the dream. And so the next day, Daniel went to King Nebuchadnezzar and told him that there's no man on earth, no wise person, no magician, no enchanter, no astrologer, nobody who could interpret this dream, but God alone is the only one who could interpret this dream. And so Daniel was able to talk to King Nebuchadnezzar about the dream, about the fact that he was placed specifically by God, and that other kings and nations would rise up, but only one would stand. And so King Nebuchadnezzar was very happy that Daniel was able to interpret the dream. he did reward him, and he promoted him within the Babylonian ranks. And then Daniel insisted that his friends Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were promoted as well. And King Nebuchadnezzar said that surely your God is the God of gods. And then in chapter 3, we'll focus here a little bit, and then we'll get to a question that I had for the group, and this is where you can respond. Daniel chapter 3 is when King Nebuchadnezzar set up an image of gold. So this is something that he wanted people to worship, and worship his gods as opposed to God of Israel and the true God. And so he set up an image of gold and summoned all the important people of the nation to come before it and bow before it and worship it. And so these people like governors, judges, etc. And if they refused to worship, he was going to throw them into the fiery furnace. And then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were ignoring this decree. And when an official found out, they told Nebuchadnezzar, and he was so angry that he told them to build the fire up even hotter than what it already was. And he bound the three together, and while the servants were bringing them to throw them in the fire, they were killed because the fire was that hot. But they trusted in God so much that they said that we will not bow down, and they do not need to defend themselves before King Nebuchadnezzar in this manner, and that if they were thrown into the fire, that God would deliver them from the fire. And so God did deliver them from the fire. When they were thrown into the fire, the binding that had bound them together was burnt off. They were walking freely, and actually there was a fourth person in the fire with them that was walking freely, whether this was Jesus, whether it was an angel. King Nebuchadnezzar said to one of his servants, "Didn't we bind 3 people up?" And they said, "Yes." And so why is there a fourth person in the fire with them? And so King Nebuchadnezzar said to these men, praise the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent an angel to rescue them and deliver them. And he also talks about how they trusted in their God. And so that's where I wanted to talk to you guys about is, if you were faced with the fiery furnace, would you have the faith in God that he would deliver you? And the reason why I say this is I often put trust in other thing, and I feel that my trust needs to be in God, but I put it in, a mentor at church, a mentor at work, a person I trust, a friend, myself, a family member, and I don't necessarily put the trust where it needs to be in God. Where do you put your trust, and is that the appropriate place? And I'm trying to figure out, and what I'm asking the group is, just throw out some comments. What is getting in the way, or where do we put our trust where we should be putting it in God, or what's getting in the way of that trust of God? Do we feel more comfortable trusting ourselves when the creator of the universe, the almighty, all-knowing God, is there ready for us to trust him and to deliver us from the fire? So that's my message for you guys. Comment on that. 2 other quick things is that small groups, we've been asked to kind of think of an outreach for the community. I know last year we've done a couple things. We did the pancake ministry, which was really cool. Possibly a free car wash if you guys were interested in doing something like that. It's to bring the people in the community that we're serving to church, and then there they would be able to encounter Christ in a way that would just be beneficial to their life and life-saving to them. And then the last idea was possibly a backpack ministry, to where we get school supplies and we get school lists, and possibly pack a couple backpacks for parents and maybe give them out at Food Pantry Day or something like that. But I think that would bless a lot of people in this community. I know back-to-school supplies can get kind of pricey for families and put a lot of stress on them. But anyways, I'm getting to the 10-minute mark. I thought I had another idea, but anyways, comment on this video. Tell me if you like this format. I know it would be better in person. But anyways, hope you all are well, and I'll talk to you soon.